And here we go. All right. The following Zoom session is being recorded and will appear later today on my YouTube channel, Math with Mayo. There are two different classes that may be observing this session. Therefore, when you participate in the Zoom meeting, if you do not wish for your picture or your name to be made public, please leave the video off and use an alias name. If you have questions during the meeting but do not wish to speak, email me at bmayo@ybcc.edu and I'll respond as soon as I can. All right. Let's see, here we go. The first question we're going to look at, this is from the chapter review. This is question number 29. Let's see if I can get this thing to write on there. Here we go. Number 29. Superman needs to save Lois from the clutches of Lex Luthor. It takes Superman 17 seconds to get to Lois, who is 969 feet away. What is Superman's rate? So what have we got? We've got units of seconds and units of feet. So it's either got to be seconds per feet or feet per second. Let's think about what happens out in the real world when you're driving your car. If you're going a certain speed, let's say the speed limit is 30, that means 30 miles per hour. So basically it's distance divided by time. So a rate, like 30 miles per hour rate, is distance divided by time. So following that pattern, it would be distance divided by time. So feet per second. Now, to calculate what the feet per second would be, we've got 969 feet per 17 seconds. If we take 969 divided by 17, we get 57 feet per second. So your first answer here would be 57, and this answer would be feet per second. Any questions about that particular problem? All right, let's go on to number 30. Marcos purchases a top-up card, never heard of that, anyway, for his prepaid cell phone. His remaining balance, B, can be modeled by the equation B equals 45 minus 0.35 N, where N is the number of minutes he's talked since purchasing the card. So N equals number of minutes, and B equals balance. First of all, I'm going to rewrite this in slope-intercept form. Okay. It says, how much money was on the card when he purchased it? Well, that would be the starting value. So that would be $45. Okay, so $45. Which intercept is this? Well, when we have a graph that's written in terms of X and Y, this is the Y-intercept. But this graph is written in terms of N and B, so it is the B-intercept. Let's see here. So, yeah, B-intercept, and here's your choices, the N-intercept or the B-intercept. All right, with that, how many minutes will he have talked when he runs out of money? So B is the balance on his card. When he runs out of money, he will have no balance. So basically you would have, let's see, I guess I should use this equation since I wrote it that way. You'd have 0 equals negative 0.35 N plus 45, okay? Because the balance would be 0. I'm going to add 0.35 N to both sides of the equation. So now 0.35 N equals 45. Divide both sides by 0.35. Go to the calculator. 45 divided by 128.35. And I get this horrendous number, 128.571428.6. Okay, how many minutes? I would say, rounding to the nearest minute, I'd say 129. Let's see what they did. They've got that whole big long number as well. And theirs even goes out further than mine because they must have a calculator with more words. I would hope that you could put in like 128.6 or something and have it take it. Let's see, 128.6. I guess this is somebody else's work I'm looking at, so I guess it won't let me put that in. But anyway, so which intercept is that? When B is 0, that would be the N-intercept, right? So N-intercept. Following that? So basically our graph, let's see here. This would be how much money there was to start, and this would be how long it would take to use up all the money. Any questions about that? What is the slope of this equation? Well, it'd be negative 0.35. What are the units on the slope? Okay, so let's go back to this. B equals negative 0.35 n plus 45. B is units of what? It's meaning balance, so it's money. All right. And $45 is money. So this ultimately has to be money, but if it's minutes, let's see, oh wait, N is number of minutes, right? So if it's money per minute for the slope times N, which is minutes, minutes would cancel and you'd have money plus money equals money. Are you following that? So the units for the slope would be money per minute. So dollars per minute would be the choice. Okay. Are you all right with how I did that? If I'm going too quickly, say, hey, slow down, I didn't get that. If not, I'll just keep going. All right. All right. We'll keep going then on to 31. Write the equation of the line with a slope of -5 and a y-intercept of 0,1/5. So it'd be y equals mx plus b. So that's what would go in the box right there. Okay. Number 32. Find an equation for the line whose graph is sketched. So I told you all that if you went and you enlarged the graph, you'd be able to see it, because I was assured that by one of my colleagues who worked on this. Doesn't work in this problem. You enlarge it. I don't see any graph. I don't know if you do, but I sure don't see one. Okay, so let's see here. Now I've made this thing way too big. I got to get everybody's pictures out of the way. I'm going to close that up. So basically on that graph, here's what I'm going to do. I'm not going to count that problem. So basically I'll make the homework assignment worth 1 point less than there was there. And if you got it right, you'll still get a point. And if you didn't get it right, it won't matter. We just won't include it. But yeah, there, I can't see any graph there. Now it's, oh, okay. Nope, can't even do that because it could be X equals a number. It could be a vertical line. So we really couldn't even come up with that. All right. So don't fret over that one. But based on what they're telling me, the answer, it must be a horizontal line passing through -2. So it would have been a horizontal line going through there. I see no evidence of that. So sorry about that one. All right. Here, 33, this one is better. We can see it. Find an equation y equals mx plus b for the line whose graph is sketched. All right, so again, you could enlarge this one if you need to, but I can tell the slope. Let's take it from this point to this point. We're going to go down 2 and over 1. So the slope would be -2. Okay. The y-intercept would be at 0, 6. So b would equal 6. So if you wrote out the equation, it would be y equals -2x plus 6. We're good to go with that one. All right. Next on the request was 35. Basically the exact same thing. So I can see that there's a nice point right there and a nice point right there. So I'm going to go down 1, 2, 3 and over 1, 2, 3, 4. So the slope is -3/4. The y-intercept is at 2. So our equation would be y equals -3/4 x plus 2. That's what would go in the box here. Okay. And they always write it like this with a little dot, but you don't need the little dot because a number right up against a variable is multiplication. We talked about that. All right. Coming up next is 37. Graph the line. So 37, graph the line, y equals 2x minus 3. So the slope is 2 and the y-intercept is -3. So I'm going to start at a y-intercept of -3. And then from there, I'm going to go up 2 and over 1 to reflect the slope. And there you see the graph. Any questions on that?
How do you know, like when you're trying to go up and over, how do you know by how many do you go up and over?
The slope right here is 2. So the slope is 2 over, whoops, come back here, 2 over 1. Since this is a +2, from this point on the graph, you're going to go up 2 and over 1. Up 2 and over 1 to reflect that. Does that make sense?
So then the number that you put on the bottom is automatically 1.
Yeah, if there's no number in the denominator, and because the slope is 2 over an implied 1. Anytime you have a number, there's always an implied 1 in the denominator. You don't usually write it, but in terms of the slope, it would be this number and then over 1 to the right.
Okay, thank you.
You bet. Okay. 38 coming up. Enter the equation of the line in the form y equals mx plus b, where m is the slope. Now here we've got to be careful because our scales are different. Okay. So 38, let's see here. Probably the easiest 2 point would be from here to here. So what is it doing? It's going up 5 as it goes over 4. So the slope is 5/4. Everybody okay with that? And where's the y-intercept? At the origin. So the y-intercept is when the y value is 0. So your equation is going to be y equals 5/4 x plus 0, but you wouldn't write the plus 0. You just write y equals 5/4 x, which is what is right there. All righty. Let's see, 39. Graph the line that has a y-intercept, an x-intercept of -2, 0, and a y-intercept of 0, 4. So there's 2 points. So I'm going to graph the line using 2 points, -2, 0, and then 0, 4. Bingo, done. There it is. So again, if you've got 2 points on a line, that's a straight line, that's all you need to plot the graph. Okay, let's go on to 43. The equation of a line with an x-intercept of -1 and a y-intercept of 6 can be written in the form y equals mx plus b. The number m is, the number b is, okay. So basically what we've got 2 points. Since the x-intercept equals -1, we've got the point -1, 0. Because to find the x-intercept, you set y equal to 0. Remember we talked about that? The y-intercept is 6, so that's the point 0, 6. So we now have 2 points that are on that line, okay? We need to come up with y equals mx plus b. To find the slope, we can take these 2 points, call them point 1 and point 2, and use the slope formula. Y sub 2 would be 6, y sub 1 is 0. X sub 2 is 0, x sub 1 is -1. So I have 6 over 1, so the slope is 6. The y-intercept is also 6. So y equals 6x plus 6. But so the number m is 6 and the number b is also 6 in this case. So they just wanted to ask us what those were. But this is what the entire equation would look like. All right with that? Okay, 44 coming up. In a small, the soccer problem. Yes, in small communities, soccer is the fastest growing summer sport. The number of people involved in soccer in hundreds from the year 2002 to 2013 is given by the equation y equals 0.4x plus 3. So let's see here. Every time I push too hard. Y equals number of people, but that's in hundreds. And X is number of years since 2002. Okay, so use the equation above to complete the following ordered pair. 7 comma what? So you're going to put 7 in for X, which is going to be 2.8 plus 3, which is 5.8. So your first answer right here, this should be 5.8, okay? And then write a sentence explaining the meaning of the answer of part A. In what year, let's see here, what were there blank people involved in soccer? Okay, 7 is the number of years since 2002. So 2002 plus 7 would be 2009. Okay. So in 2009, which is right there, oh, it has the second part too, there were how many people? Well, there were 5.8 hundreds. So in 2009, there were 580 because 5.8 times 100 people. Okay, so 2009, there were 580 people involved in soccer. Then, if this equation continues to be valid, there will be how many people involved in soccer in 2017? Well, 2017 is 15 years after 2002. So X is 15. So Y equals 0.4 times 15 plus 3, which is, let's see, what is that going to be? 6 plus 3 is 9. So 900 people. because again, everything's in hundreds. So you got to pay close attention to the labels. All right. 45 coming up. Phone company charges for service according to the formula. C of N equals 20 plus 0.05 N, where N is the number of minutes talked, C of N is the monthly charge in dollars. The slope in this equation is what? 0.05. Okay, so that would be right there. The slope's units are, okay, so here we go again. I'm going to write it in slope-intercept form. So N equals minutes and C equals cost, so dollars. So this is money. This has got to be money. This is going to be money per minutes times minutes. So money per minutes. So the slopes units are money per minutes, dollars per minute. Okay. Again, you see how I'm figuring that out? It's like, if this is all dollars, then this has all got to be dollars. Well, if this is dollars, how can that become dollars? Dollars over minutes, dollars per minute, times the number of minutes. Okay, let's see. The vertical intercept in this equation is what? The 20, right? Because that's our starting value. This would be the N axis. This would be the C of N axis. Okay, 46. Suppose you are at Albertsons, which is 6 miles from your house. At noon, you begin walking home at a pace of 1 mile per hour. 1 mile per hour. Write an equation in slope-intercept form to model the situation where D is the distance from your home and X is the time in hours. So D equals MX plus B. Okay. So let's see. At noon, you begin walking home. Suppose you're at Albertsons, which is 6 miles from your house. So when you're starting, what's the distance from your house? 6. At noon, you begin walking at a pace of 1 mile per hour. That's the rate. That's the slope. So 1 mile per hour. Okay. So what have you got? You've got distance, which is miles, equals the rate, which is 1 mile per hour, times X, which is number of hours, plus B, which is miles. And then here the hours and the hours reduce out. So again, you got miles equals miles plus miles. So distance equals 1x plus 6.
Mr.
Now,
Mayo,
yeah.
would it be negative since you're walking back home?
Excellent, Courtney. Let's see here. Split your miles. Yes, because it's distance from your home. Very good. Thank you. You get bonus points, and I get put in the penalty box. Now, let's see what they did here. You could just put negative X plus 6 because the 1 is implied, but again, we'll go with what they've got there. All right, how are we going to graph this thing? Well, it starts at 6 and then it goes down. Let's see, our scale on both axes are the same. So it should look like that. And there it is. Good for you. You could have just kept quiet and let me make a fool of myself. That would have been so much more fun for everyone else, right? But good for you. Good for you. Okay, 50. It wouldn't be the first time I've made a fool of myself, and certainly won't be the last. This week, the price of stock DDD is $16 for each share. In the past several weeks, it has been increasing at a rate of $2 per week. Write an equation in slope-intercept form to model a situation where X is the week and P is the price of the stock. So P equals MX plus B. All right, where X is the week and P is the price, and it's in dollars. We know that because it says dollars here and it says dollars there. All right, so to start with, the stock is $16. So that's going to be your intercept. It increases at a rate of $2 per week. So that's your slope. So $2 per week times the number of weeks, the units would cross out. So P is going to be 2x plus 16. You see where I got that? Okay, 2x plus 16. Now to graph this thing, we're going to start at 16, and then we're going to go up 2 and over 1. Now, the scale on the vertical axis is every 2 units. On the horizontal axis, it's 1. So to go up 2 and over 1 would be right there. And we'll check it out here. There we go. Questions about that? The key to this whole thing is my initials backwards. My name is Ben Mayo, so backwards the initials would be M and B. It's all about M and B, the slope and the Y-intercept. That's kind of the basis behind all these questions. Let's see.
One question, Mr. Mayo.
Yeah.
So then like when it's a negative number, like if the 2 was negative, we would go down 2 over 1.
Yes. Yes.
Oh, okay.
Yes. You might want to go back before your test and relook at the section where we first introduced slope, which was a couple sections ago, and kind of to reestablish that. Okay, let's see. 52 was the next one. A plumber charges a flat fee of $130 to show up at a customer's house. So there's your fixed cost, plus an additional $70 per hour. There's your variable cost. This is going to be your intercept, and that's going to be your slope. Create a linear equation to represent the amount of money the plumber makes for a number of hours he spends at a customer's house. Define the variables. Oh, they're doing that right there. Okay. So let's see. We would have y equals 70x plus 130, because there's a flat fee of $130. That's a one-time fixed cost. And then $70 per hour. So if X is the number of hours, $70 per hour times the number of hours, plus that initial flat cost fee. So your equation, again, is going to be y equals 70x plus 70x plus 130. Okay, so there's that. Determine how much the plumber makes after working for 5 hours. So that would be 70 times 5 plus 130, which is 350 plus 130, which is $480. Which leads us to 2 conclusions. Plumbers are expensive, so Mr. Mayo tried to fix his leaky toilet on his own, and it still leaks. So there you go. I got my money's worth. All right, 53. After visiting the Titanic, Captain Brain and Mr. Pinky are taking the Alvin submarine back to the surface of the water. They start 1,900 meters below the surface of the water and ascend to 57 meters per hour. Note, under the water is a negative number. All right, so let's see here. What have we got? Do we have any variables? We don't. We're going to use y equals mx plus b. And we're going to say x would be, let's see. What's x going to be? Meters? But what's y going to be? Oh, I see. They're saying use m for meters and h for hours. My bad. Missed it. Okay. So meters per hour. So y is going to be meters. X is going to be hours. Let's see here. They start 1,900 meters below the surface. So that would be the starting point. Okay. Now, this is a little confusing because they say to use m for meters, and yet we've got m for slope. So we got to be careful there.
Shouldn't that be a negative 1900?
Hang on. Give me a chance to screw it up first. You're probably going to be right. Probably going to be right. I'm actually going to go back here because I need to say what h is hours and m is meters. So let's see here. Situation m is meters per hour. So we've got h equals mm plus b. Yeah, that's confusing. Tell you what, I'm going to use. Go ahead.
Shouldn't it be m equals 57h minus 1900?
Yes,
Everybody's picking on me today.
that
You know what?
that's correct.
You know what? It's correct that you're picking on me. All right. I'm going to start all
No,
over.
the equation.
I know. I'm just going to reboot. I'm going to reboot here. I get bothered when they use an M twice. Okay. After visiting the Titanic, Captain Brain and Mr. Pinky are taking the Alvin submarine back to the surface of the water. So here's Pinky and the Brain submarine, and they're 1,900 meters below the surface. And it says under the water is a negative number. So their altitude is negative 1,900 meters, okay? Pictures sometimes help. Obviously, I need help. Write an equation to model this situation. So they start to below the water and ascend at 57 meters per hour. All right. So, I guess we want them ultimately to be at sea level, which would be at 0 meters. So they've got to go up 1,900 meters. So they're starting 1,900 meters below the surface. So like you said, I think it was Whitney said, it should be that. So let's see. M is going to equal something times H. So tell you what, here, I'm going to go back to using capital M for what? Meters, and a little m for the slope. Okay.
Which
I'm
is
so confused.
57.
Just hang on. And then let's see, and we've got H, right? Okay. So it's going to be big M equals 57 times H minus 1,900. Because this would be 57 meters per hour times hours. So hours would cross out. You'd have meters, meters, meters. I'm just trying to get all my units to work. So after all that, I guess it's going to look like this using their notation. Little m equals 57h minus 1900. I would never write a problem where you use a little m for something else. It's too confusing. Oh, after all that. Good job, folks. All right, now. Oh, that was it. Yeah. I'm going to take tomorrow off so I can recover. Wait a minute. I do have tomorrow off. All right. That was all the questions.
Mr. Mayor.
Yes.
I didn't get to email you, but could you go over number 11? The slope that I have, it didn't like it, but it liked all my numbers.
It didn't like it. Sounds like a personal problem to me. Oh, just kidding. Just kidding. I'm getting snarky. Not a good thing. Okay. For the following equation, complete the given ordered pairs, then draw a line using two of the ordered pairs. All right. This is number 11. So we've got 3x minus 5y equals 4. We want to complete the ordered pair -2 comma something. So -2 goes in the place of x. All right. -6 minus 5y equals 4. Add 6, add 6. -5y equals 10. Divide by -5y equals -2. Okay, so that first point should be -2, -2. Okay, then we're supposed to find the ordered pair when x is 3. So 3 is going to go in there. 3 times 3 minus 5y equals 4. 9 minus 5y equals 4. Subtract 9, -5y equals -5. Divide both sides by -5, y equals 1. Okay. All right. Let me ask you this. What do you think this value is right here?
3.
It's got to be a 3 because look, we've got 3 comma 1. But you know what? We'll do it the long way. But what I'm saying is it's got to match that other ordered pair, right? So now we've got this ordered pair to complete. So y is 1. So we've got 3x minus 5 times 1 equals 4. 3x minus 5 equals 4. Add 5 to both sides. 3x equals 9. Divide by 3x equals 3. So basically the second and third ordered pairs are the same point. Oh, and it says to graph it. Well, we actually only have 2 unique points anyway, right? So we're going to have to use -2, 2. No, -2, -2. And then 3, 1. So.
Sorry, I lost connection. I got back in. So my number 11 actually had 3 of the same coordinates for all 3 points.
I had the same problem.
Oh, wow. Okay, so here's what you do. Create another ordered pair. But that's wow, that's not good. I did not write these. So you're gonna another all 3 ordered pairs are the same, is what you're telling me.
Yeah, they were -3, 2. And then if you only put one on, it doesn't like it. Even if you made your own slope, it doesn't like it either.
So how did you find the slope? Did you take this and solve it for y? Whitney?
Yeah, I created a new pair.
Can I bring up your problem? Is that okay?
Sorry, I kind of got bad signal right now.
Okay, we'll take that as a yes. We'll hope that means yes, you will. All right.
Yes, that's fine.
So right now you can just see the whiteboard, right?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay. So let's take a look. That's not what I want. Roster. down there. Okay. So this is the review. And which question is it?
11.
Oh, wow. Oh, I see why. Okay, okay. So now let's go back to here. So yeah, because you drew a vertical line, and if it was a vertical line, all your, oh, I see why, because they all had the same X value. So you thought, oh, it's a vertical line, but they also all have the same Y value. So really all you've got is that point right there.
Yeah, and I won't accept an answer if you only have one dot.
Right. So let's find the slope of that line. Okay. So for number 11, x plus 5y equals 7. I'm going to subtract x. So 5y equals negative x plus 7. Divide by 5. Y equals negative 1/5 x plus 7/5. You see how I got from there to there?
Yes.
Okay. Yeah, this is still, that's ugly. So what do I got? I've got one, let's see here, if this will let me do this. So I've got the point -3, 2 right there. And from there, I'm going to go down 1 and over 5. All righty.
Yeah. Thank you.
So a couple of things going on there, folks. You have all the tools, but maybe you haven't had something like this exact problem. So we've been graphing when we had the slope and the y-intercept, but we can graph if we have the slope and any point on the graph, because you start at some given point on the graph and from there apply the slope. So this point -3, 2 is right there. And then we apply the slope we found, putting this thing in slope intercept form. But yeah, that's a, I'm gonna make note of that and complain to the authors. So this was number 11. And what was the one that where the graph wasn't showing up? No, that wasn't it. I'll figure it out later. Anyway, anything else?
I have a question. I don't remember what number it was. It was in the 30s, I think. They ask you to find the average rate of change of G, open parenthesis, X, close parenthesis, equals 4X plus 5. But then they also give you 2 points, or 2 ordered pairs of -2, -3, and 2, 13.
Basically, go ahead. Where you find the slope. Rate of
Yeah,
change.
which is, can you take it just from the 4 in that equation and also doing the slope, you know, m equals y sub 2, y sub 1?
Yeah. Oh, good for you. So the rate of change would be, is it have units attached? No, it's just, so the rate of change is going to be 4. Which question? You don't know, it was in the 30s?
In the 30s, yeah. Maybe not the 30s.
Hang on. I'll get something here. Okay. Let's see, Courtney. This is again from the chapter review. Okay, good thing I can read lips. Your mic's off.
Yes.
Okay, that's okay. All right, let's see here if we can find that problem. Okay.
$25.
Yeah, you just passed it.
Ah, good job. Okay. So find the average rate of change, and it's 4. So yes, you could do it either way. And I would say that you knew what you were doing to not even bother doing anything with these points. Good job.
Oh, I did something with those points. I didn't think about it until after I had already done it.
Okay, fine. We'll still give you credit for being brilliant. Okay. Yeah. So again, rate of change, slope, same thing. Typically, rate of change has units, because think of a rate. Okay. And what they're doing here, they're introducing something called function notation that I haven't really hit on because it isn't presented very thoroughly throughout this whole course. So this thing right here is just another name for Y. So yes, absolutely. Slope is 4. All right. Anything else? We've got a whopping 3 minutes left. I will be back this afternoon at 1:15. Should any of you, you haven't gotten sick of me yet, you need more of me today, I'll be back at 1:15. Again, no class meeting tomorrow. Just take your test. It's due by 11:59 tomorrow night. I will also be there tomorrow for an office hour. So if you delay taking your test tomorrow till late in the evening, I don't recommend it, but if you do, you could still come in tomorrow during my office hour. Anyway, having said all of that, I will stop the recording if I can find it here. And